Rust programming language has been a good contender when it comes to the embedded development space and low-level task. Comparing with C, C++, Rust can be able to do the job with excellent performance and good memory management. And this makes it very good in usage for the embedded development space. But now we know this issue that endeavoring or venturing in embedded ecosystem in the Rust space has been quite tedious, quite scary, and quite difficult. This is because you need to install a lot of dependencies, you need to work with much complicated toolchains. And being a beginner, this can be all a hectic time. And even for the intermediate, it's still much of a difficult time. Just being able to do one task in the embedded system requires a lot of toolchains, a lot of dependencies. But whatever I told you that things shouldn't be like that. That there's a way, there's a better way, there's a solution. It's possible to have a simple way to program and develop in the embedded system in the Rust ecosystem. My name is Vincent, creator and developer of kariRS. So, what is kariRS? kariRS is a Rust embedded framework which is designed with simplification, developer-friendly, robustness, and good memory management in consideration. kariRS requires that you just install it. You just need one and only one framework to do everything. It's not like we dealt away with the things of complicated toolchains, but you don't need to do them anymore. kariRS handles all that in its internal way of how it handles things. And so you don't have to think about installing various toolchains. You don't need to think about the various libraries you need to install for a certain sensor. kariRS does that for you, and then it exposes to you kariRS APIs. And these kariRS APIs are very expressive, they are very easy to understand, learn, experiment, and use it, making it easier and making and opening doors for beginners, intermediates, and advanced developers to venture into kariRS Rust embedded space. So, the next time someone asks you, how can I get started? Just whisper to them about kariRS. So what or where is kariRS currently? So kariRS currently supports AVL MCUs and ESP32 MCUs, where we have support for ESP32C3, C6, the ESP32S2 and S3 are all supported in kariRS. You also have support for all AVL MCUs variants, the Atmega 328P, the Atmega 2560, and all the others. And the various boards which are beginner friendly, the Uno, the Mega, all these boards are well supported in kariRS. And when we talk about this framework, it's not only easy to use, but it also provides you with a very, very rich documentation. Because in embedded development space and in such a space, having a good documentation of understanding how something works and knowing what to use when you need to do a certain task is very, very important. And that's why kariRS provides you with a very rich and a very, very, very vast documentation, which is very easy to read. You can visit kariRS GitHub repository, and you can be able to see and read for yourself and be able to read into the documentation. Inside the documentation, we have very, very real-world examples which have been tested and utilized in kariRS, which you can be able to see and learn about the kariRS logic and how to utilize and get started in kariRS. Another thing about kariRS is that we have tutorials about kariRS, getting started with kariRS, and the various things. You can be able to look for that in YouTube. You can look for the various projects that has been happening on TikTok. On TikTok, you can look for Vincent Circuit Corner. On YouTube, you can look for Vincent Circuit Corner. All these in order to enable and as a way to enable you to get started in building in the Rust embedded ecosystem using kariRS. Another thing about kariRS is about modularity, that it allows you to write modular code. You don't have to just have one file you don't need to just have one file when developing embedded ecosystem, you can have many files in which you define the various tasks in which your system is doing. So that is another thing about kariRS. It is quite modular. We also have a very vast and very stable API structure for kariRS and a good developer community. We have a very good developer community for kariRS, so you don't have to be alone. If you are stuck at something, you can be able to ask a question, and I, the developer, and other developers in the ecosystem of kariRS can be able to help you move out with your prototype and your project and go on well. The other thing, when we talk of embedded ecosystem, we're not just talking about the technology. It's not just about the technology, it's about the time that you try to build this technology. So kariRS shines here because of its expressiveness, the way its APIs are very expressive. With very little amount of code, you can be able to do a lot. So this is part of this philosophy of kariRS. You do a lot with little. So you can be able to do a lot with various APIs because of its API structure. So it means prototyping time is greatly reduced. You can be able to do a lot of iteration using kariRS very fast, making it robust for usage in prototyping, experimentation, and in your everyday design of the various embedded systems. So the next time someone tells you that, building in the Rust ecosystem is hard, it's quite tedious, just tell them one and only one thing. Whisper to them kariRS. Tell them about kariRS. Help your friend out. Tell him about kariRS. So this kariRS is not just any other framework. We have a very rich documentation and very good examples for utilization. So what are you waiting for? To get started with kariRS, just visit kariRS GitHub repo and get started. And the other thing about kariRS is that it's not just about the framework. It's also about the tool ecosystem which is built around this framework. kariRS comes in with kariRS Web IDE. Picture it being able to write code online without having access to your MCU, compiling it and being able to check whether there's errors in the logic of your code before you even access your microcontroller. This is part of what kariRS framework comes in with. You have the kariRS ID, which you can access. Once you just visit the kariRS GitHub repo, you can have all this information and all this access to all these tools. The other thing about kariRS is that it does not only come with an online ID, we also have kariRS for Docker. So yes, you need to have your MCUs to build, but what about that side where you just want to write the code and flash it later? What if you want to do automation in a virtual environment for your embedded development? For one way or the other, we also have a kariRS Docker image ready for you to build with. For the automation and all these designs, kariRS Docker image has been provided. So in the Docker repository, you can just go ahead and search for kariRS. You will still get the kariRS Docker image. So kariRS is not just any other framework. It is an ecosystem that is built to make sure you build faster, you build easier, and you build robust systems. kariRS being part of the bigger part of Kari. So Kari is what embodies all these tools. We have kariRS, kariSpark, kariMon, all these tools. They are all under Kari, and all these tools work and correlate to each other. For example, you can be able to write kariRS code, program it, debug it online, and be able to download it, and later flash it in the microcontroller using tools under the same ecosystem. The fact that all these tools are in one ecosystem, they are designed to work with each other very efficiently. So what are you waiting for? Visit kariRS GitHub repository today and get started.